I'm Neal McCready, about to get joined by Chase Parham and Haley Malatek. We had a little bit of a scheduling issue today. I thought we were going at 7. We were going at 5. Luckily, I was quasi-prepared for 5. So hello to Chase. There he is. There's Haley. I'm Neal McCready.
We don't see ourselves yet. We're in a delay. So.
Yeah, welcome into hand raise, guys. You'll see yourself in a minute.
Okay.
I've made the screen. I've made the screen a little too big on this computer, and now I'm messing with. I need to stop.
You okay over there?
Yep, all good.
Oh, there we go. Okay. Let's get myself back a little bit.
You see yourself?
Yeah, it's weird not being at the controls because I don't know what's coming until it's.
Yeah.
It's already there. Because that's like really up close. Trying to back it out a little bit. I think I can do that. Okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We've got, let's see, UCF
Georgia Tech
on the screen at the moment. We're dealing with that. We've got had golf on. Matthew Wolf shoots a 65 today. Yeah, we're very zoomed. We're trying to fix that. Neal could probably make us go out a little bit, but I kind of hate for a lot of things to get changed right now or get moved around. So
I can do that. I can do it. Just hang tight.
Haley's not terrible. I'm pretty into it.
I think I'm good.
You're okay with it?
I'm okay with it.
I'm actually zoomed in a little bit too much too.
Are you really?
Yeah, we played with it some over the. I hate to fool with it right this moment, but I'm working on it.
Yeah, you hate to do too much because then strange things happen and then things get a little complicated.
So I'm gonna do something here. I'm gonna do something with your screen. That's Haley's screen.
You zoomed her out a little bit.
I'm about to.
Okay. I'm just hanging out. We're getting the kinks worked out. It's something different every time, but you know what? We are making progress. That is for sure.
So you're on. I don't have any way to do you by yourself.
Really?
Yes, we'll know this next time with those cameras. See, that's me by myself, and I can't find the zoom key for some reason. It was normally here.
Up in that top corner where it says zoom and pan or whatever it is?
Yeah. I'm working.
Okay.
I'm going to go to this page for a second and see if I can't. Oh, I know what it is.
Okay. You got it figured out?
No, but I'm almost there. I know. Okay. I know where it is. I've got to move.
We have so much technology.
There's so much on here. See, I had to move. What I had to do was get the YouTube page on my computer down enough where I could. Does it make sense?
Okay.
Where I could see, where I knew where she was, if that makes any sense.
Okay.
So I'm pulling that up, and now I can get into Zoom.
And then you'll go back to the 3 eventually.
I know people are really excited with this. Let's see. So I'm going to switch. I'll switch to, yep.
How's our volume out there, by the way, guys? We thought we think we have that repaired a little bit. We think we have it in good shape. So help us out. What's the volume doing? We'll actually get started entertaining in a minute, but you're our guinea pigs. Hang out, crack a beer.
Let's see what happens here.
Okay.
Fixed her a little bit.
Did you?
Haley's a little better now.
Okay.
So I'll try to fix you. She's not as zoomed in as she was a minute ago.
Okay.
People are seeing you up close and personal right now.
Oh, really?
A little bit.
I'm very zoomed in right now.
A little bit.
It says I'm a little loud. Let's see. Okay.
Anyway.
So this is what we're going with?
We'll figure it out.
Okay.
Again, it's my fault probably. I must have misunderstood something. I thought we were going at 7, so I was going to come back and work on some camera stuff. But we got it.
We're there.
We're there. We're good enough. We can talk to people and take calls and do all of those things.
Okay.
So we're good.
You have a little bit of like Bruce Willis vibe going on. Just the plain black T-shirt.
Oh yeah.
And you're trying to.
Yeah, people have said that to me before, but I don't really see it.
I didn't say you look like him. I just said you had the vibe going on. I mean, it's two totally different things.
Yeah, I mean, well, I've never gotten that impression that people said there's a resemblance, and I don't really see it.
White and bald and.
Yeah, I mean, I get the bald part, I get that, I do, but yeah, I don't know what it is. I can't move the screen right now, so
What do you mean? What screen?
Well, I'm trying to move on my computer. I'm trying to move this over some, and I can't get it over.
Yeah, he's wearing like kind of a V-neck, just a plain black one. I'm wearing an Army T-shirt, one of the ones that we got from Coach Nuke over the course of the weeks.
Is there a
Haley's
reason?
wearing camo, so
wearing camo.
I mean, we actually did not plan this, but everybody's kind of serviced out here as we're getting started. Let's see. Everybody says we look pretty good. Yeah, I was trying to just even like kind of back me out a little bit, but I think this is going to be what it's going to be. I think that's the answer.
Sound okay?
Yeah, they said maybe I'm a little loud, but I can just talk a little quieter. I'm kind of loud in general. I talk loud. So yeah, we good? You good?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Hand raised, guys. Oxford Exxon podcast brought to you every single day by the Oxford Exxon Highway 6 West in Oxford Speed Pass Plus app. You can use it. You pay right there on your phone. Don't have to worry about going in. You can be antisocial. You can be worried about COVID. Whatever the reason, you pay right there on the app. You go on with your day. You also can get a lunch special 5 days a week, $5.69 there, 2 sides of bread, 32-ounce drink there at the Oxford Exxon. So go by, use whatever it is you need there, and hopefully you're driving a Clark Ford into the lot. We are in the Clark Ford studio.
Yep, we're absolutely in the Clark Ford studio. Clark Ford is 662-257-1900 right there in Amory, Mississippi. Call the number, ask for Corey Clark. Tell Corey what Ford product you're looking for. He'll send you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours. Right to the bottom line, no hassle, no haggle. You get the quote, and the rest is up to you. You can shop that quote around, or you can do what I've done. And that's get into a Clark Ford. You'll love the product. You'll love the service. They really go the extra mile all the time at Clark Ford, and they'll take great care of you as well. Corey wants to be your car guy. He wants to be your truck guy. He'll prove that to you when you make the call, 662-257-1900. When people call us a little later, you'll be calling on the Rafters Music and Food Hotline. Rafters on the Water is open out at the Sardis Marina. Rafters on the Square is open. There's a lot of activity on the Square. I was just up there a little while ago. Not nearly as much as there would have been had Ole Miss played Auburn today, as was originally scheduled pre-COVID, but activity nonetheless. So that's on the Square, and then also Rafters in New Albany is open. Oh. So you can check that out. All the great food specials, burgers, po' boys, all of that stuff, beer specials, house-made margarita, all of that stuff at Rafters. Rafters on the Water, and Rafters, New Albany.
Ole Miss is playing. I see on the message board playing their first sporting event since Ole Miss and Princeton baseball back in March. Ole Miss soccer playing Texas A&M at 5:00. So
is that here?
I have no idea where it's at.
Okay,
but the first sporting event is going on. So yeah, it's here 5:00 at the Ole Miss Soccer Stadium.
Oh, good for them.
It is on SEC Network apparently. So
okay,
yeah,
it's a perfect day for
the weather. If you're not a local, the weather is fantastic. I will say that the weather is it's quite good. Are you a summer person, a winter person, hot, cold? What's our season preference?
I like the summer weather, but it gets a little too hot for me. So I like the fall. In Texas, we don't really have four seasons. We have hot and kind of cold. So I've kind of been enjoying the fall.
It's one of the things I really like about Oxford is the seasons.
You get 4 seasons.
We lived in Mobile and
it was just hot and very freaking hot
for a decade, and you just had summer. Just summer. I mean, you had mild summer, hot summer, surface of the sun summer.
Exactly.
And the gates of hell summer. And then you get like a week of spring, and you'd get a couple of days of cool, and then it was just right back to summer and mosquitoes the size of helicopters. Ole Miss, Texas A&M in the 32nd minute, no score. Nil, as they would say.
So they're only playing, what, is it 8 matches? Like 6 matches? It's a very small number. What is
small number in the fall, and then they'll play some more in the spring.
And they'll get a postseason in the spring? Is that right? Are they doing championships in the spring?
I was told there'd be no math on the show, so I don't know. Navy came back to beat Tulane.
Yeah, did you not see that? Yeah.
No, I was actually doing a Peloton ride, and Tulane was killing them, and I switched to Liberty, who appeared to be beating Western Kentucky.
Yeah. The Fighting Freezes appeared to be having the Hilltoppers in check.
That was a shame. I was really cheering for Western.
Were you really?
Yeah, of course.
Who'd you bet on?
I had Western.
Did you have Western in the picks?
I lost that one.
Okay.
By the way, we all go 1-0 on Houston Baylor That's
our rule.
That's my rule.
If we tie or don't play, we win.
Tie or don't play because of stupid decisions that are made, we win. So we all got that one.
That's a win.
That's a win, no matter whether you would have gotten it or not. That's a W.
Okay.
And even for Campbell and Greg on the Butcher versus the spin instructor, they both get a win on that game.
Oh, okay.
I'm not punishing anybody for that.
So it's not even a 0-0 though. You could
no, it's a
not
win.
Count it.
Nope, it's a win.
Vegas wouldn't really agree with your plan.
Well, that's it's my game, my rules.
Let's see. Who do we have on tonight? Who are we watching?
The quote big end quote game tonight is Miami Louisville.
Okay.
Yeah. We're a week away from big games. Okay, so the Big Ten came out with their schedule today. I've got it. I'm gonna.
You have it up?
It's right here.
I saw Nebraska was talking about how they had a very difficult one.
Big Ten week one schedule.
Wasn't rigged at all, given what they've been through here lately with that conference.
Actually, what I've got up is incorrect, so I'm going to take that down because I think I was reading.
Just adding to the things we got to repair. We know Haley's nameplate is the wrong font, right?
Yeah, because remember we lost it. We had to throw that one away.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. That
So
overlay.
That overlay had to be tossed, so we got to fix that one.
That's okay.
I'm with Haley here. Some of the people out there that are picking it apart, you guys don't have Emmys either. So just chill a little. It's going to be okay. I mean, I love you, but
you do need to lock it though. Is it not locked? Because it's the overlay just shrunk.
Okay. No, I don't have it locked.
Yeah,
And
it just
locked.
went. It just got a little small on us.
Okay. There it goes. And I'm going to try to get up here and lock it.
See, this is called a dress rehearsal, ladies and gentlemen. Ole Miss football kind of had one today. They had a scrimmage dressed out in the stadium.
They did.
Where you do the whole where you run through everything. You come out of the tunnel. You worry about how to get on from the sidelines to the field for special team stuff. I mean, every coach does the same, so I assume that's what they did too. I mean, it's the punt team, get together, get out on the field. You run through all that kind of script. That's kind of what we're doing right now. This is sort of our script day for the season starting next week. Ole Miss in Florida, 11 a.m. Next week. So
I found it interesting with the Big Ten
that
Nebraska was the one that followed suit. Nebraska's first two games are at Ohio State and Wisconsin at home, which was the Big Ten's way of going, screw you.
Oh, you think it was on purpose?
Come on.
They just drew them out of a hat.
No, they made sure that
they put all the red teams together, and that's just how it shook out.
Made sure Nebraska felt it a little bit in weeks 1 and 2. Because I saw Kevin Warren was on game day this morning with Reese Davis and Kirk Herbstreit and stuff. His answers are so political.
Kevin Warren?
It is as if there is not a human being inside that shell of a body anymore. He is robotic. All of our decisions are made in the best interest of the student-athlete's health. Kevin, nothing changed in 4 weeks.
Testing. Did you not see our boy? No, he said that the reason is because daily testing is now available, and that's
yeah.
That's why.
Oh, and the one that really gets me is that now Big Ten athletes have access to echocardiograms.
Okay.
You realize where the Big Ten is located, right? Minnesota plays in Minneapolis. They've had access to heart MRIs before. Northwestern's in Chicago. They've got hospitals there. Wisconsin's in Madison. They've got hospitals there. Give me a break.
As long as you're being polite about it, Charles, you can point out things that we don't have right because we can write them down and know for sure.
Yeah. I'm playing a little bit.
Just keep it between the lines, okay?
Yeah, I'm playing a little bit.
That's all. We're not overly thin-skinned.
No,
it's cool.
I'm really not thin-skinned about it at all. I'm just it's kind of funny to me. Haley was talking about it before we started. It's just kind of funny. I mean, there's a lot here. I wish Jay probably doesn't want people to know this side of Jay.
Uh-huh.
Jay drove over to Oxford yesterday.
Why would he not want people to know?
To help me. I don't know, because I think Jay sometimes wants people to think that he's a tough guy. Jay drove over to Oxford yesterday to help. There's a lot here. He's a master at it. But there's a lot to learn. It's a different thing. But we worked on some stuff. We worked on the Skype. Still can't figure out why the ring won't go away.
I'm at a loss. I don't.
Well, the fact that
you know what I think it is. I'm serious, and I got thinking about this. Jay told me this back in December, or not December, even when we got started. When was it? October. He told me back in October because of some way that he needed some type of Skype. I think he has the European version downloaded instead of the American version, and I think the European.
Didn't we try that?
Yeah, but it didn't work for the thing we needed it for. But I think it would have worked for the Ringer thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, a little bit.
It didn't solve the problem we had at the time, but I think it would. I think it would solve the problem we currently have right now. That's what I'm saying. So I think that is the issue. I think we need the European Union version of Skype for it to be how we take calls without blowing our eardrums out as we get started. So that's my hunch.
So it appears that the Week 1 schedule in the Big Ten is Indiana against Wisconsin, Iowa at Purdue, Minnesota at Michigan, or Michigan at Minnesota. Okay, it's Michigan at Minnesota, Ohio State at Nebraska.
Okay.
Maryland is at Northwestern, and I might have these wrong. Yeah, Purdue is at, I can't tell who's where.
Whatever.
Yeah, Purdue, Iowa, Wisconsin, Illinois, Indiana, Penn State, Maryland, Northwestern, Michigan, Minnesota, Michigan State, Rutgers. Yeah. 8-game schedule, no margin for error, no week off, 8 games in 8 weeks.
Because they were idiots.
Yeah. And we're doing this, how brave. No, how stupid.
You knew that. We talked about it on this show 1,000 times. That was going to be what happened. It's why I almost give her even more credit. What's her name? The Christine Brennan.
Christine Brennan.
She's the only one that had a different thought, at least. It was a dumb thought, but at least it was a different thought. Everybody else went, you know what? They saw the numbers and they saw this, and they put the student athlete first.
Hers was a criminally stupid thought, though.
Got a lot of hits.
It did.
Got clicked and clicked and clicked.
It got clicked a lot.
Did you see the ratio on Twitter?
But
a lot of interaction.
But yeah, well, she got
engagement is what we call it nowadays. Yeah. IMC major over here, right? Haley, it's engagement, right? In that thing, okay. It worked.
Yeah. I suppose.
Have you been on campus all year, Haley?
I had my first in-person class Thursday because I couldn't go to the first one because of COVID, but it's a hybrid class. So
how often do you go?
Once every 2 weeks.
That's it?
That's it.
Like 1 out of 6?
Yes.
So does some people go every time, or just everybody goes that one time out of 2 weeks?
He divided our class into 2 groups, and so one group goes on Tuesdays and one group goes on Thursdays, and we have assigned seating. So it really takes you back to the elementary school days with the assigned seating.
I get the assigned seating because that's contract trace reasons.
Yeah.
You sit there, if you're there, everybody else is wherever. I do actually get that one, but I didn't realize it was, so in theory you go half the time though. Tuesday or Thursday.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. Is it as dead around there as everybody says? Like you park wherever, like there's nobody on campus?
The parking lot is what surprises me the most because you would have to leave 30 minutes for class to find a parking spot in any lot, and you can leave 5 minutes before if you want now.
Today was supposed to be, pre-COVID, a huge day on the Ole Miss campus.
Yes.
Auburn at Ole Miss. Eli Manning's jersey retired.
You would have felt really good, Neal, in July when you were freaking out that weekend. And I said, you know what? Whatever date Ole Miss plays Auburn, that Friday, Jay's going to be in Oxford helping you with some sound stuff.
I actually thought
you
about
would have
that
went,
yesterday.
hey, you know what? We're playing Auburn. Everything's good. Everything's cool that weekend.
Yeah, we talked about that a little bit yesterday, how town yesterday was so different than what it would have been. Would have been crazy this weekend. And the weather worked out. It was so nice last night. This morning, the weather was just fantastic. I mean, it may have gotten quasi-warm for like an hour. I went out and did the yard this afternoon, and there was a breeze. We don't normally get cool breezes in September. Normally, September's really hot. And it was just such a pleasant day, and I kept thinking about, wow, how cool this day would have been for Ole Miss fans, for Auburn fans coming over to visit. And then I thought, how much money has been lost? Like if you you're someone that's running Rafters or St. Leo or someplace like that, I would think today is a day that you just have to try to knock that thought out of your head over the course of the day, that you're going to make today maybe 1/6 of what you would have made on a day. Look at it right now. If this were it's 5:30, let's say this was a 6 o'clock game at Vaught Hemingway, or it had been a 3 o'clock game. In the fourth quarter right now, town would be packed. It would be jammed tonight. And instead, it's just kind of, I don't know. I mean, I'm good. I'm not depressed about it because it looks like there's definitely, I'm not going to use the word definitely, there's going to be football. But
barring falling below the numbers to play, there will be football next Saturday.
Yeah.
That's the way to put it. I mean, because they came out, I'll find it a second ago. They came out with the protocols for this. I'll look at them in a second.
Hilden says the updated COVID numbers as of 1:30 today. Total active cases 52, active student cases 52, active staff cases 0. No number about active faculty strikes or anything, but active faculty cases 0. Wonder how many of those 52 have been hospitalized. I'm going to guess 0.
Was Ole Miss on the chart that got brought around? Was Ole Miss one of the schools on that chart that we've looked at over the course of the last couple weeks? Okay.
No.
I didn't. I had no idea.
And by the way, those numbers are up over 40,000.
Really?
Right, 44,000 with no hospitalizations. The no hospitalizations thing has to be taken seriously. That has to be factored in. You have to look at that and say, well, that's significant. Because if you have 44,000 cases and 0 hospitalizations, at some point you do have to wonder, and I'm just, again, the next time I'm an epidemiologist to be my first, but you do have to wonder how many of those positives are false positives at this point.
Well, I think the bigger thing was it shows you that the people that go, hey, we've got this, you've got to send home, is absolutely the worst thing you can do. Because that brings you into the elderly. That brings you going back home where you're infecting potentially other people that could really, really struggle with it. You know what I mean? Like, If anything, it's isolate more where you are. It's stay in that college bubble to even a greater extent than you already are versus, hey, no, go home and do this and do this and do this. I think that could be a bigger problem. I have it here. SEC established the minimum thresholds to play a game. They have to have at least 53 scholarship players available to participate. So that's 53 out of 85. I'm not good at math, but whatever that percentage is. So nothing below 53 from a total. And this is interesting because some conferences have done total players. Ole Miss is doing total scholarship players. So like the walk-ons aren't counting toward that 53 number. It's just out of the 85. So a little more stringent there than some leagues are doing. They have to have at least 7 offensive linemen, which includes 1 center. They have to have at least 1 quarterback. They have to have at least 4 defensive linemen. And then, let's see, the Impact Institution has the option to play the game with fewer than 53 scholarship players or fewer than the minimum number of position players if it does elect to do so. So even they could override these rules if they so choose. So, in a lot of ways, kind of as I'm reading that, there really isn't a rule then, right? Because if you can break it.
If the rule can be broken, then
there's not actually a rule.
There's
guidelines.
Yeah. I don't see a scenario where most of the SEC games don't happen next week.
I don't either. I don't think. I mean, frankly, it would take a contact trace nightmare is what it would take. Where some guys who haven't had it but have just been around somebody and there was one positive and suddenly you got 20 people quarantined off close contact. That's what it would take. Otherwise, I can't see a scenario either where that's the case. I think they're going to play. Is Auburn early too?
Yeah, Auburn's at 11. The 2 SEC games that kick off are Florida at Ole Miss, Kentucky at Auburn, and then everybody else is later in the day.
Sammy's got a question on the live stream. Haley, I know the answer. You've actually said this on a podcast before, but I'll let you tell it. Why Ole Miss over any of the Texas schools?
I get this question all the time. Am I good?
Yeah.
A lot of my friends and family went to Texas A&M, and I just kind of wanted to do something different. It wasn't a specific reason. I went to a football game junior year of high school and went to the Grove and said, yeah, I'm not applying anywhere else. So it's kind of how it happened. It was the Grove for me.
Yeah, she picked it because she picked the school because of the Grove.
Yep.
That's. I think my camera is dead center. It's so zoomed in that if I move at all, I get out of frame. It's not how the camera is.
And the truth is that camera, even if there's no way for me to zoom that camera because that camera
it only pans out. It doesn't zoom out.
Yeah,
because this camera doesn't zoom,
and that one won't even pan out.
Oh, it's not even panning.
No.
Okay. Yeah, it's again dress rehearsal, guys. We have a really fancy camera over here that will hopefully work into play. To the point that
it came yesterday. I did not get an opportunity to fool with it. Haley has had about 6 minutes with it so far. So
she got it out of the box, and I gave her 2 more tasks that took precedent to that one.
So her assignment is to get familiar with it enough to use it by the middle of the week. And so we'll do another dress rehearsal, and then quite frankly, week 1, we're going to look like a team that didn't get.
No preseason.
We didn't get spring or preseason, and we're going to look like the NFL team that didn't get preseason games. So there you go.
Yeah, that's probably fair. I mean, that other camera, as I'm looking at it, I mean, I know we have to use it for a couple different things. It's also possible that we could put it over there and actually shoot 2 in one shot.
Yeah.
It's close enough where I think it actually could cover multiple people.
A tripod's on the way.
Yeah.
I think it's being delivered tomorrow or Monday. I don't know. I've got so many things out with Amazon right now that I've kind of lost track.
A lot's coming through.
It's been a lot of activity with Amazon.
Yeah. Just a little bit of, not really even news, but just telling you guys, I know some people were interested in it. Ole Miss baseball started fall inter squads today. Those are being broadcasted on Facebook. Again, no media, no fans allowed in the stadium due to COVID. However, they are streaming on Facebook. You got to kind of know the players, though, because there's no audio. You don't know who anybody is. It's just a camera set up at the top of the stadium showing the action. But it is there. I think they're going at noon tomorrow. No, 1 o'clock tomorrow. It was noon today, 1 o'clock tomorrow for baseball. So if you so desire, it is there for you.
Okay, Haley's like wondering what the hell's happening right now, but I can actually control her camera, but because the resolution on that is not very good,
it's taking her out of frame.
It takes her out of frame.
Yeah.
And that's completely out of my control. So I can zoom her in right here and get her in the frame, but if I get it where it looks better, there's nothing I can do about it. So that's right about there is the best I can do. And this is where I'm really impressed with myself. I think I have figured out how, Chase, to move you.
Okay.
And I can. And so let's see what happens as we do the dress rehearsal. Wait, nope. Let me go there.
Haley just saw her go really close and freaked out a little bit.
Not a good look.
Okay, so I'm going here with Chase. See, the same thing with you. If I back you up,
okay,
you're on the delay, so you can't see it yet.
Yeah, I know.
You'll see it in a second. If I back you up, that's what happens.
Who is my twin in the U.S. Open? It says Chase's twin is going to win the U.S. Open. Who are we comparing me to?
I think that's just the best I can
I deleted the Bianco hot board. If something happens where there's a Bianco hot board needed, we're going to have to start all over. It stayed there for a long time, though. I gave Neal laughs for months. Let's see.
Well, I almost published it one day by accident.
Oh, that would not have made my day better.
And that's when I said, hey,
you know what?
We need to go ahead and get this off.
I would have gotten some very confusing phone calls there for a minute and went, yeah.
Well, I don't know if it can jump in admin when you're – because Zach –
God love him.
You guys are getting all behind the scenes now. Yeah, God love him. Zach, if there's a chance that Ole Miss is going to get a commitment from a kid in the next 2 years, Zach pre-writes the story. And so sometimes there's multiple this kid commits to Ole Miss stories in there. And I threw a couple of them away the other day because I said, you know what, it's not happening in time for him to play this year, so we're throwing this out because I don't want to accidentally publish that. Where it gets out and all of a sudden it's everywhere that we've reported something, when in reality I just accidentally hit.
I mean, I've told you that happened to me at my my former employer. It was 2007, maybe, something like that, maybe somewhere in there. And it was when Kyle Bunn, former Ole Miss pitching coach, was going to Clemson, and I'd pre-written the story, everything was fine, but he had not been officially announced yet, and he was kind of antsy. He goes, "Hey, something could happen. It's not done, whatever." And in the middle of the night, a coworker who covers recruiting at the former place just decided to publish everything in the admin that was set to not show up yet, but go ahead and throw him out there. So woke up in the morning to a very pissed off Kyle Bunn that he was right. Scoop was fine, but it was not time. It was embargoed, and there we go. So yeah, it has happened before. It is not it's not a new thing. I mean, there is a phobia of that every time you put something in. I wrote an admin this morning and didn't freak out about it because the way that I will give them credit, they auto save for us pretty good now. I wrote it with no real issues. Like I felt pretty good about it the whole time.
Yeah, it auto saves a bunch now.
Yeah. I was pretty pleased.
We've got that and hundreds of emojis.
We have emojis?
Yeah. Price stayed the same, but we got lots of emojis. You get hundreds of emojis for the same price.
Yeah, that is the other thing that we fixed on our old screen that we need to fix here too, is Neal and I are talking in different directions in the because everything's mirrored.
Yeah.
So if we flip our cameras, does that make sense?
Yeah.
If I go on the other side and whatever, then it will allow us to whatever.
I just figured out why I was confused by this game. I'm used to watching English Premier League where the scoreboard counts up.
Oh, we're counting down here.
And here they're counting down like
American.
American.
Yeah.
This is the better way to do it, but I'm so used to watching soccer count up. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And so I was confused. I kept looking up going, wait, just a minute ago they were in the 31st minute. Now they're in the 11th. That makes no sense. They're counting down. So there's 10 minutes left in the first half. No score between Texas A&M and Ole Miss.
Yeah, Patrick Reed shoots 43 on the back mark. Good grief. Neal could almost do that.
I just turned to it for you.
Oh, they're saying me and DeChambeau look alike? I don't know. He's gotten quite bulky, but let's see. Read the threads. What are we grilling? Has anybody got anything from LB's tonight? You get extra points for that. What's everybody drinking? Kind of update us a little bit. What's the dinner? What's the food in the stream? As we're kind of.
I'm the only one here drinking. That's y'all's problem.
I'm hydrating.
Having the Wiseacre Oktoberfest.
You like it?
It's good. Yeah. This morning the weather made me want Oktoberfest stuff, not sours or something.
What number is that today? No shame or anything.
3.
Okay.
Well, I mowed the yard, and so that's a requirement. After you mow the yard, you have to drink a beer. I mean, that's a rule. And you know me, I'm not one to break that rule. It's a rule. You have to do that.
You are very dedicated to that.
I edged and mowed and all that stuff. Yeah,
it has to be a beer?
Yeah, it has to be a beer. I don't make the rules.
It can't be like a more like cocktail-y thing.
It has to be a beer, and then you can have a cocktail after that, but you have to have a beer after you do the yard. Those are the rules. I didn't make them, but I live by them.
Were you aware of this rule?
I'm not aware of the...
When your dad does the yard, I bet you money he has a beer afterwards.
He probably does.
Okay, there you go. Because he understands the rules.
Text him and ask him.
I will.
Yeah, see what he says.
Ask him if he's heard of that rule.
Okay.
Might
say it sounds like a scotch on the rocks. I mean, just
and that's breaking the rule. But listen, I mean,
that's adjusting the rule.
We all have to live by a certain. Different people have different variants with rules. I had LB's last night. Had pork chops. Did them in the sous vide.
Oh, how was that?
Oh, they were fantastic. I did a filet for Carson. None of my kids, for whatever reason, Chase, like pork.
Really?
It's a weird thing. And
why?
It beats me. It's bizarre. It's because I'll be honest. There are half the time, if you told me I could have a really good pork chop or a really good steak, about half the time I'm picking the pork chop. Seriously. Love pork.
Now, a really good, like, charred with the crust pork. I mean,
yeah. That's what I mean. Because sometimes a pork chop can be more flavorful.
What are your side items with pork that are your favorites? Do you need almost some kind of, like, fruit something?
No.
You don't need, like, grilled peaches?
No, we had rice pilaf and Brussels sprouts and jalapeno poppers from LB's last night. And we had the stuffed mushrooms. I don't really do mushrooms, but Laura and the kids ate mushrooms. My parents were over here. They had some mushrooms.
Oh, you don't like mushrooms?
It's
not
really
too strong, or not like too strong?
Yeah, it's just not my favorite thing. I mean, I'm not.
On a pizza?
I can, but I'm never going to order it. If you tell me I'm the one ordering the pizza, I'm going to say no mushrooms.
Haley actually grimaced when I said mushrooms on the pizza.
Not a mushroom on a pizza. I like plain, simple pizza.
Like what's your
a margarita pizza, just like tomato and basil?
What's your pizza?
Um,
You're ordering the pizza tonight. Everybody goes, we don't care. We'll eat whatever. What's your order?
Pepperoni.
Okay. Just straight pepperoni?
Yes. That's it.
Okay.
What's yours?
I'm fine. I like multiple meats is good. Like I'm a protein pizza person. Sure. I've gotten to where though I do like the little more simpler stuff. If it's really good, yeah, just like the basil and the cheese and whatever is very good. As long as it's thin and it's done correctly, I guess would be the way to put it. I'm trying to think of the only thing I don't like on a pizza. Olives, no. For whatever reason, I can't eat olives on the pizza. It's like a Supreme. I might have to pick at it a little bit. Let's see. Oh, pineapple. Are you in or out?
Out.
The Hawaiian pizza is not your thing?
Out for me, too.
Totally out.
Totally out.
It doesn't go on pizza for you?
No.
Pineapple?
My go-to pizza order, if it's just me and I don't have to worry about anybody else, is sausage and jalapeno. All day. Done.
Okay. Did you try those jalapenos last week? You tried them yet?
Yeah.
How were they?
Oh, they're solid.
I only had the Serrano, which is about 5 times hotter than a jalapeno, and I was out of water too, so I left. Yeah. I left the studio last week, kind of coughing. I was kind of like,
they're
a little bit.
They're significantly hotter than what you would get like at Kroger or whatever. But yeah, they're very good.
Yes, gourmet ketchup on my pizza. Yes, it can't be any of that Hunt's crap. We need Heinz on the pizza. That is very correct. They give me crap because when I was a kid, it was only one kind when I was a kid. If I had thin crust meat lovers from Pizza Hut, I would eat it with ketchup for some reason. I know it's gross. I'm not denying it, but it's what I did.
It's really bad.
I mean, how is it really bad though? There's already marinara on it. I mean, it's already a tomato product.
Because
it's like mixing sweet and savory.
Okay, but let's take this marinara ketchup comparison all the way out.
Well, it's not. I'm trying to lawyer the situation.
Yeah, and I'm about to convict you. If I tell you that you're going to pour ketchup on your spaghetti, you're out. If I tell you you're putting marinara on your spaghetti, you're like, okay, that's fine.
Well, yeah.
There's the difference. So the two are not the same.
Well, because I don't eat ketchup on anything else. Maybe an onion ring. Like I just don't eat ketchup. Like I don't even eat ketchup on fries.
We've had this conversation. You could tell me that I could never have ketchup again, and I'd be like, okay, cool. I mean, I'm fine. I like it, fine, but I don't have to have it. I don't go to Kroger and think, okay, I have to get ketchup today because if I don't have ketchup, I won't be able to survive the day.
It's one kind of pizza. Any other kind of pizza, I don't touch it. It's nostalgia. That's what it is. It just is what it is. Look, I'm no more disgusting than you people that put the mayonnaise on pizza or like the French dressing.
Ooh, mayonnaise?
Ranch dressing a lot. A lot of people eat ranch on it.
Yeah.
You in on that?
I'm a pizza and ranch person for sure.
Jay Tate's in the thread. Jay, what's up? Getting ready for his big show. I think he said he's having some kind of pizza tonight. He got lost in the thread. Jay showed me how to bring the thread into the main page, but this page is so busy with 3 cameras that there's no way to do it.
Oh yeah, it's too much.
Yeah.
What?
But I could do it with a one person or maybe even 2 people. There's a couple of different scenes that I've got ready for next week that leave open a lot of space for that. But 3 cameras is not doable.
Jay did not approve of my pizza and ketchup situation either.
Well, I mean,
nobody's on board here, are they? Like,
nobody's defending you here because it's an indefensible stance.
It's one kind of pizza. What about aioli on fries? What about a really good aioli? You in or out?
It's fine.
Because is it Snack Bar that does an aioli with those Parmesan truffle fries?
It's the best.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That was my first meal out of quarantine.
Oh, was it really? We asked you that question. Is that what it ended up being?
It was.
Okay. What else with the fries?
That's it.
I was surprised.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are your taste
I had
taste
the
buds
steak
back all the
frites.
way?
Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
Oh, I was confused. Yes, I had the steak frites, and they weren't doing it that night. They didn't have the chimichurri sauce. I think that's what it's called.
Yeah,
but
it
they
is.
did it anyways. It was really nice. It
Oh,
was
did they
really
really?
good. Mm-hmm.
That was polite.
Very polite.
Did you tell them it was your first meal out of quarantine?
I didn't.
You should have.
I probably should have.
If you couldn't have gotten the chimichurri, you definitely should have. Like, hey, just by the way, I'm coming to you first. Like,
I couldn't taste it, but my mom was in town and wanted to go to snack bar, so we went.
So you're how far removed? Where are your taste buds now in terms of returning?
Taste buds are back. They came back last week. They were muted for a while, but they're back.
Okay.
Smell?
Smells back.
Okay.
It was weird.
Can you explain what no taste is actually like?
And when you say no taste, you literally mean you
Whatsoever.
could not taste anything.
No, not a thing. It's everything tastes like water, chunky water. I don't really know how to describe it.
So it tasted more thick. Like
well, like I was eating soup and it just tasted like chunky water.
So I had someone tell
really
me,
gross, but-
someone who lost his taste buds said that he put a garlic clove in his mouth.
Just trying to spark it.
Well, just to see if he could taste it, and he couldn't. And I thought, that's wild, because if you think about that, take a garlic clove and just put it in your mouth. Don't even bite it. Just the garlic is so powerful that you'll have that taste in your mouth for a few minutes without even biting into the garlic. And if you bite into the garlic and actually eat a garlic clove, you'll taste garlic for a day. So that's crazy to think.
Crazy.
To think that you could put a garlic clove in your mouth, eat it, literally bite through it, eat it, chew it, swallow it, and not taste it at all. That's when I was like, wow, that is nuts.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Yes, Haley is a COVID survivor.
Made it.
You tested positive and confirmed and everything, right?
Yes,
Yeah, okay.
confirmed and everything.
5 days of issues? 5, 6?
I had 5 days of symptoms, so Monday to Friday. And those middle days were probably the worst, kind of like just with a flu or something, but made it out.
It is the thing I have where, like, for the most part, like, I feel like I have a fairly discernible palate and, like, kind of a foodie enough, but, like, then I have the ketchup and pizza thing and everybody just, like, slaps it down on the table and I go, yeah, okay, you probably got me. It's all good. It is what it is. Georgia Tech came back. Did I hear that?
We need multiple TVs in the studio, and there's just not room.
In high school, we'd go to events where they had a hypnotist that would apparently hypnotize people where they would think an onion was an apple, and they would just take an onion and bite into it and like not react to it and think it was an apple, and that was like his like main thing that he did from a hypnotization standpoint. I mean, I'm assuming it was fairly real because I couldn't fake that. Like if I bit into an onion, I couldn't act like I didn't just bite into an onion. I would feel like it was. I would feel like it was an apple. So anyway, yeah, I don't know.
I'm pulling up some college football scores.
We talked about this middle of the week. A couple different things for any students that are in there in the thread. Student tickets go on sale Monday for Ole Miss and Florida. They're a little more expensive though. I think $100. Haley said for the season in the past. These are $50 a piece for these. Also, regular tickets available. I think the last ticket sale number I heard was just around 10,000. So that means 4 to 6. I don't know exact numbers of like visitor tickets, student tickets, that kind of thing. But still, some general admission tickets available or seated tickets available for Ole Miss in Florida as well. So it's one of those deals where at the current price points, because I think that has a lot to do with it. Frankly, I don't know that if the attendance was higher, it would really matter because you haven't sold out of what you have. So I don't know that the 50 or 75. Now, you have some people who would have bought more that did buy them, but I don't know that you would have filled up had you had a higher attendance number at this point at the situation as it goes.
So what is the attendance? What is maximum capacity for
16
Saturday?
16 something.
That includes the suites?
I don't know. Well, no, because it's 25%, right? 16, 32, 64. So, yeah, it includes suites.
Okay.
16,000. Visitors get 500 tickets. That's an SEC rule. And then, how many ever student tickets there are, I actually have no idea how many student tickets are available.
UCF leads Georgia Tech 35-21, 11:40 to go in the fourth. This is according to the ESPN site. Marshall leads Appalachian State 17-7. The Citadel hanging in there against Clemson, down 49-0. Notre Dame beat South Florida 52-0. That was a cover for we didn't do that game, did we?
Which one?
Notre Dame.
We did not. No.
I think Greg and Campbell did that game. Campbell actually wins that one. She laid 26.
Did she? Okay.
That was the one where I said, "So you're laying the points?" And she said, "Sure, whatever." And I said, "Okay." Oklahoma State beat a Tulsa team that is so badly coached. It's unbelievable.
He's on the hot seat. He's going to be one that gets popped. Philip Montgomery, is that who it is?
They're awful. They look like they just
long way since Malzahn had them running a little bit. 16-7,
Oklahoma State wins. Cincinnati, that guy's really good. Luke Fickell's going to have his choice of jobs. They beat Austin Peay 55-20. Louisiana Lafayette in overtime beats Georgia State 34-31. Pittsburgh beats Syracuse 21-10. Miami and Louisville later tonight. Charlotte at North Carolina been canceled. BYU Army postponed. Why was that game postponed? COVID?
Army had an issue, right?
Is that right?
Maybe. I thought I saw that. I mean, somebody will answer in the thread before I have a chance to look it up. But for some reason, I thought that was correct. Or maybe BYU did. I don't know. Somebody had something. Let's see. Let me find it.
Boston College beat Duke.
BYU postponed the game. I apologize.
Okay. Boston College beat Duke 26-6. I'm just kind of going through, looking for scores.
Small number of positive COVID test results and the resulting contact tracing within the Cougars football program. That's right, because I saw where Army, somebody made the joke how when Baylor, because Houston was still looking for somebody to play when Baylor canceled on them, and they made a joke, well, just tell Army to fly down, and they'll probably figure it out. But
yeah,
BYU is who canceled that game.
SMU is up.
They've added Louisiana Tech to their schedule now.
Who did?
BYU.
Okay.
To fill in.
Louisiana Tech plays tonight in Hattiesburg. SMU beating North Texas 24-0 in the second quarter. Navy came back and beat Tulane, as we mentioned earlier, 27-24. That's hard to believe as someone who watched some of the first half of that game, because that game was going all Tulane's way.
That's a good question, Haley. Did you – I mean, I know you were sick during this, but when you had no taste, could you taste like spice or heat? Like, had you eaten really hot wings, could you have tasted them?
I can't taste anything, to be honest.
So, I mean, you can't even the heat wouldn't hurt you, or like you wouldn't be able to discern that it was really, really hot?
The one thing that you can somewhat taste is alcohol in the back of your throat.
But it's the alcohol
in it. It's the alcohol in it. It's not the taste. Like, someone could give me my least favorite thing, and I would just, you have no idea.
You just feel the alcohol burn the back of your throat.
Yep.
That's it.
You would not know something spicy.
Spicy
sour.
Might be kind of dangerous because you could be, I mean, just blisters everywhere. And
yeah.
Just like, oh.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's kind of freaks me out a little bit. Yeah, BYU is going to go undefeated. Now, they're going to play anybody, and it's going to be what it is, but they're going to go undefeated. It's not going to matter. You cool with the Big Ten in the playoff at 8 games?
This year?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
An 8-0 Big Ten team versus a 10-1 SEC team?
Yeah, I've got to be consistent.
Who's in?
10-1 SEC team. So,
Yep.
I mean, the team that won the title and lost a game?
Or went undefeated and lost the title game. I don't know. You tell me. The champion's in that scenario, obviously.
Yeah.
Well, Alabama runs the table but loses to Georgia. But they win the title. They're in.
Yeah, I think the two SEC teams get in that scenario.
Georgia would get in, too, even though they lost Alabama in the title game, and they'd be 10-1, too.
That's my opinion.
They would split the two games and both get in your opinion.
That's what I think.
Okay.
The league that I would worry about is the Big 12 because there's one good team, one okay team, and everybody else sucks.
Yeah.
I mean, I do think the Big 10 has 2 or 3 good teams in it. But look, they have no margin for error. And if they end up having only 7 games because they get a cancel, then they should pay for it because no one stopped them from doing this the right way. And so I'm not for rewarding their stupidity.
Are we okay on the stream?
To my knowledge.
Okay. Nobody's telling me I have a problem, but mine is spinning. I guess we came back now. Okay. Yeah, I was spinning for a second on mine. Did your dad reply?
He did. He said that should be a law, in my opinion.
Okay.
There you go.
I knew that was going to be the response.
Okay.
The stream's a little weird.
Does 10-0 Army get in by chance?
No. I'd like for them to. This would be the year to let them in.
Why not?
Because you know Clemson's going to get in. You know an SEC champ's getting in.
And Ohio State's getting in.
And then probably Oklahoma's getting in because they always do.
Oh, and that fills it.
Yeah.
You need somebody to screw up.
Well, you need what you need.
But if a conference goes stupid and somebody goes 8-2,
well, you need like an 8-2 Texas to beat a 10-0 Oklahoma in the Big 12 title game and knock them out. No one's going to say, "Oh, well, Texas is 9-2; they deserve to be in." I mean, no one outside of Austin will say that. They'll say that, but nobody else will. That's what you need, or you need 8-0 Ohio State to lose to 5-3 Nebraska in a final.
It's fair. We haven't picked out our name yet for next week, by the way. The thread has some good options in it.
So let's talk about that. We need to talk about that. You want to pull the thread up?
I can find that.
Because that thread's like 22 pages, and I thought, we probably need to start having a conversation about it.
We're going to give something to the winner. Let's see. Halftime of Ole Miss and A&M, by the way, 0-0 in softball and soccer. Sorry.
Neal.
What? Oh, yeah, sorry. Whatever.
You're welcome.
Yeah, love. What's it called?
I think I said naming again.
Is it off the front page?
Just I don't know.
I'm having a hard time.
Luckily, I checked the site around 4:30. Otherwise, I woun't even have been here. I saw your thread. I was like, oh.
Well, you called me when I was really close, and I was like, okay, fine, whatever. I'll be there in a second. And I got your text. And I was like, oh, well, that probably means we should communicate in some fashion. Yeah, I'm having a hard time finding it.
I'm looking. I have a hard time believing it's not on the front page because it was
still rolling.
It was rolling pretty good as of yesterday.
Okay.
But I'm looking.
Did you have a couple you liked?
Here we go. Naming time again.
Is it on the front page?
Yeah, it's on the first one. Naming time again. Yeah, this is like an 11-page thread.
I see it.
Not doing anything based on the uniform.
No.
Doomsday Preppers made me laugh. I did laugh at that. The Rogue is the pregame sponsor, but I don't know that we'll play them into it.
Say Going Rogue is a great pregame name if you play in with the sponsor. I do appreciate the suggestion because if you go in with the sponsor, that's a good idea.
Mississippi Pre-Made made me laugh.
Oh, that's funny.
There's just a lot. There's a lot of stuff here.
Some people reuse their entries for the naming of the postgame show last year, and that should not count.
No.
You don't get to just keep you didn't win for a reason last time, so just heads up on that.
Dress rehearsal's not terrible.
No.
It's not terrible. 4th and 25. That probably would not be the best.
That's not.
Best way to go forward.
We'll comb through them. We'll find some things.
We need to narrow it to 5 and make a vote.
Okay. Is that what we're going to do? Did we did that last time?
Yeah. And then
did we just take the winner, or did we just choose what we wanted last time, though?
I think we just chose. I think the one that we picked was not number 1, but it was the one that we decided to go with.
Okay.
I think it was number 2.
Yeah, it's 11 pages of names at this point, so is what it is. You want to see if anybody wants to talk?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I'll open up the phone lines here.
We all have headsets today. We've gotten more fancy, so we can have a normal feed. We can hear you.
I'm getting there. So I got to go in here and unlock this one so that I can put the number up.
Okay. And you have Skype open?
Yes.
Okay. 662-259-0991 is the phone number to
there it goes. There's the
call,
scroll.
to chat. Whatever you want to. We had truck drivers. We talked NBA on Thursday night. We had a slew of different topics for.
We've got NBA Game 3 tonight, Eastern Conference Finals, an absolute must-win for the Celtics, who are imploding and infighting. They had
Oh, really?
They had issues in their locker room following their Game 2 loss.
They denied those, didn't they?
They denied them, but people heard them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, legitimate reporters who cover the team reported it.
Did they could hear it through the walls or whatever?
Yeah, they were able to quote Marcus Smart.
Has any media been in trouble for leaving the bubble, or has everybody stayed pretty good?
No, I think the media's all
stayed all right.
Yeah, and a lot of media outlets did stages. So someone came for the first 40 days, and then
we should get Dan on the show. I'd be curious to know what that's been like.
Because he was in the bubble.
He's been in the bubble.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll shoot him a message.
Okay.
You replaced him, so y'all don't know each other as well.
Yeah, I know him a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, we can still hear it. Don't worry.
Yeah, we can hear it. Wasn't as loud, though.
No, that was better.
That was better.
That didn't blare us out. It was actually like, oh.
Who do we have here?
Hey, who is it? Hey, Carly.
It's Carly.
Oh, hey, Carly. You want me to tell her goodbye?
Yeah, let's not do that.
Okay.
If she's not going to talk. It was a good effort.
Okay. Let the record show that I hung up on Chase's kid at his instruction.
At my instruction, yes, that's fine. She apparently did not want to talk. Bubba must be out on the route. Must have got called out for something going on in Tippah County tonight because he's back from, was it Table Rock? Is that where he was at?
That was what he said?
Yeah, did I hear that correctly?
No word on practice today other than they practiced. I don't think it was like a practice per se. I think it was more of a figure out where people are.
They were not going to get people injured 1 week before the opening game.
Right.
This was not going to be a tackling to the ground day.
No, this was some clock management stuff, headphones, making sure those work. A lot of what we're doing today. You just dress rehearsal. Know where to stand on a sideline, where to be on a sideline, some of that stuff. Pretty much everybody in the league, I would guess, did that today. They know who's starting and who's not. I will be interested to see if they put out a depth chart on Monday. All depth chart jokes aside.
They will, won't they?
I would think. I anticipate a lot of oars.
Will Matt Corral be on the line by himself?
I don't know if he will be or not, but he's the starting quarterback.
Have you noticed where the national media still is not saying okay? Apparently, SEC Today this morning said basically that John Rice would and should be the quarterback.
How can they say should?
I'm posing a topic while we're waiting on the phone to ring.
Yeah. National media gets worked up.
But wouldn't that be like, is it not strange, I guess, that those guys like on the conference affiliated pregame shows don't have more ability to understand? Forget even what should happen. What is happening is the point.
Well, but if you think about it, Kiffin's been asked about the quarterback position numerous times. He's never said anything specific. We wouldn't know if it weren't for some kind of inside type stuff where we've talked to enough people who are around the program. We've had no access at all. We've not seen a single practice.
I don't know.
I'll be absolutely stunned if Plumlee is the starting quarterback. Now, if they run him out there to take snap one and then or something, some gimmick, but I don't know that that's. If you're Kiffin, this is week one, right? This is your first appearance. I don't know that you want to play a bunch of games. What's the line on that game, by the way?
Next week.
Yeah,
it's 9.
Is it still 9?
I thought it was 9. I haven't seen anything at this point. I guess we'll get the real lines tomorrow for they'll come out tomorrow afternoon at some point. Let's see. Jordan Rogers said it, seeing that from the thread.
Parker Eves says if you use Discord, then you can lock the voice channels and drag callers to the one you're in. What is Discord?
I don't know.
I don't either.
That may be what Eric gave me like almost a year ago to run some stuff through.
Yeah.
But we found that it was not syncing with something that we have that acts a little strange.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, what happens if you mute Skype all the way?
It
still rings through. It just we wouldn't move to here, right? It doesn't actually kill the entire deal.
I'll mute it. We'll try. Next person that calls will know. I just muted Skype, so we'll see what happens. I still think it rings through.
Grind thinks Auburn covers next week as long as the line stays under 13.
I think the line will be under 13. 13's a big number for that game. It's a lot of points. I mean, he could be right. I don't know. I think that line. My guess is that line's going to be around 9-10 points.
What are you going to do? You kind of like Kentucky.
I think Kentucky's a solid team. I think Auburn wins the game, but if you told me Kentucky's competitive, I believe it. They've been really good.
Discord is what everyone who plays games on PCs uses. It's getting a lot of positive ratings here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not arguing.
We're old. We don't know all the new stuff.
Yeah,
so
I'm not a gamer.
You don't want to do that on your Twitch. See if Landry will let you do that on the Twitch channel. Turn on some Call of Duty and see how it goes.
I think even Landry's warming to the idea of switching to YouTube.
Is he really?
Yeah. So we're getting there.
How have you felt like that's going so far?
The Twitch part of it?
No, just the show.
The show, a lot of good feedback. I mean, Chris knows football, and I stay out of the way. It'll be really good once they play games. I mean, we did the first, 6 shows without football games. So once they play, and we'll get to talk about, why Auburn. Let's say Auburn beats Kentucky by 17 points. What did Auburn do well? What did Kentucky do poorly? He'll be able to get into that in a football nerd sort of way that
not many people can do, frankly.
Not many people can do, and there's a market for that if you're really good at it. And I'm not, so I don't go that route. (662-259-0991) is our number. I feel like I'm back in my radio days where I could say that and then hit like sound buttons and stuff. Let's see if the sound buttons work. Oh, yeah.
We heard that one.
There's that one. See, there you go. It's exciting.
What are you interested in seeing on Saturday? I mean, it's not felt like an old preseason. We haven't been able to see anything, so we don't know how to. There's been no change to our baseline thoughts other than what we've heard from other people or insiders or whatever.
Yeah.
But in general, what's sort of your what are your 3 or 4 things you are intrigued by with Saturday?
Yeah, Chris and I talked about this. I'm really intrigued to see what LSU looks like with all of the change coming off of the season that they had. New coordinators. I know Insminger's the same coordinator, but let's not pretend that's the same offense that Joe Brady ran. New quarterback there. There's LSU to me is very intriguing. Obviously, I cover Ole Miss. I'm really interested to see what Ole Miss looks like under Kiffin. What they try to do offensively, what they try to do defensively, despite the fact that they probably don't have some of the weapons that they'd like to have. What do they try to look like in week 1 against Florida? Auburn, Kentucky's intriguing. Always curious to see what Alabama looks like early in the season. Is there any chance, for example, that Alabama looks less like itself because of the COVID stuff?
DraftKings, by the way, Leif says has Ole Miss plus 12.5 next weekend. So that line, at least on DraftKings, has gone up 12.5 on Ole Miss in Florida, and they have Kentucky, Auburn at 7. So 7 for Kentucky and Auburn.
What's your gut feeling? 12.5 points. I mean, look, Florida's a title contender on paper.
Yeah, Trask is fine. I like him good enough. I don't know. I think Ole Miss is going to score some points. I do think they're better on the offensive line than maybe they're getting credit for as long as everybody's healthy. I think they're really good from a standpoint of the backfield that we've all been talking about. And we know if it's Corral, you want to see decision-making. If it's Plumlee playing some, you want to see if he's improved from a passing game standpoint. I think they're going to score points, though. As long as – and this is the question because, I mean, you wrote a story on it Wednesday or Friday or whatever it was. It was Wednesday, I think, Neal, is Who is the number 2, number 3 wide receivers, and do they have enough in the passing game to take some pressure off Elijah Moore? Can Ole Miss spread it around the way that we're typically used to seeing them do?
Yeah, in a way that they didn't do it a year ago.
Yeah.
Because last year it was just Elijah Moore and Jerry Neely and Hope. Really nobody else stood out. They have to do better than that to be different. But, yeah, I think I'm curious to see what the offense looks like and what it looks like if Corral gets off to a slow start. The one thing Kiffin's always been really good at is figuring out what his quarterback can do and then put him in position to do it. Can he do that with Corral? What does Matt look like from a confidence standpoint? Because at the end of last season, Matt was not a confident quarterback.
No.
And unconfident quarterbacks don't do well.
He loves finding the tight end. Can they use Yoba as kind of the guy that's a second or a third option that takes some pressure off some people? I mean, he made a star out of Harrison Bryant last year at Florida Atlantic.
Yeah.
So does that work a little bit? And then on the defense, do they stop anybody? What do they do? I mean, I
want to see how aggressive they are, even if it means you pay for that a little bit. Trask is a good quarterback. Florida's a good team. Florida's had some COVID issues recently. I mean, was it 12.5? That feels like a lot of points given how discombobulated Florida's preseason has been. I don't think Ole Miss's has been as discombobulated as Florida's.
Well, no.
From a COVID standpoint, I think Ole Miss had a lot of their COVID issues early. Florida's had some COVID issues as of late. You see where Florida State, by the way, Norvell tested positive?
I did see that, yeah. He will try to coach remotely, so we've seen that happen before. It's all good.
Just get him a hospital bed, put him up in the press box. He'll be good.
It might be the thing that the two guys that really make Kiffin as a quarterback coach, he made Blake Sims pretty dang good and Jonathan Crompton.
Yeah.
Turn those two guys into really productive quarterbacks.
Well, and he did a lot with Jacob Coker, too. And if you talk to people who are around the Alabama program, they'll tell you that Coker also had a ton of physical talent and struggled to read defenses. It's the reason that he's not in the NFL today.
Yeah, SEC football schedule. Let's see. We're getting the rest of the lines in the stream here. We've got, let's see, got it up real quick. This week, you got Arkansas getting 24.5 against Georgia in Fayetteville.
I might lay those.
You're going to lay all 24.5?
Think about it.
Feel good about that?
Although you don't know what Georgia's going to look like at quarterback.
No.
You know, I mean.
The Newman kid left or opted out.
He left. Look, Jake Fromm was overrated, but Jake Fromm's in the NFL. Jake Fromm won a lot of games at Georgia. He's not there anymore.
Arkansas is the State's getting 16.5 against LSU.
Ooh, that's a good line.
Yeah, I don't know. Are we believing in Miles Brennan is the question.
Well, I don't think he's going to stink. I've seen people say this guy's going to be terrible.
He can't be compared to Joe Burrow.
No.
Potentially the best quarterback season in college football history.
Yeah, I mean, the only one that comes close is Cam Newton's. Burrow was great last year. But LSU didn't panic in the quarterback transfer market. And if Brennan had been bad in practice, I mean, let's go back to the Hugh Freeze era for a minute when Bo Wallace got hurt.
Arkansas 2014.
At Arkansas. He got hurt in that game and really couldn't finish. And Ole Miss got a look that next week in practice at Devontae Kincaid and Ryan Buchanan. Nothing against both kids because they're both really nice kids. But they said, hey, we got a problem. All of a sudden, Chad Kelly's off-the-field stuff wasn't that big of a deal. All of a sudden, Chad Kelly became a priority for Hugh Freeze. Had Ryan Buchanan or Devontae Kincaid looked like world beaters, he wouldn't have gone that route. I mean, you can argue that would have been stupid, and I might agree with you, but still. He was really reluctant to pull the trigger on Chad Kelly until it became obvious that he had a quarterback problem. So my point is, if Brennan had looked bad in practice and in some of the bowl prep and that kind of thing, and it's my understanding that at LSU last year, late in the year, they wanted to preserve some bullets in Burrow's arm, if you will, and Brennan got a lot of snaps in some of the early bowl prep, and they liked what they saw. If they didn't, I think you would have seen them panic a little bit in the transfer market. And they didn't. They kind of stuck to their guns.
And we have no idea what to make of Mississippi State under Mike Leach. No clue.
No clue. They're the wild card.
I mean, I have.
They're the wild card. They must like what they see at quarterback. They've moved Schrader to kind of tight end / H-back.
Well, he's not his kind of guy.
No.
And they got KJ Costello.
Yeah, so he must like what he's seeing there is my point. And if you're LSU, I don't know how do you prepare for – I mean, you got to go prepare as if it's Washington State, but something tells me that Leach can't install all of that in one preseason. Although they've had 6 weeks. I don't know how sharp it'll be. And all the stuff about Tiger Stadium and being intimidating and all that, well, it won't be intimidating a quarter full.
Alabama and Missouri. Missouri getting 28.5 against Alabama.
It's a lot of points. Saban made a comment today that if you're a bettor, you probably should have paid attention to. He said that because of just the Big Ten stuff and all of that this might be the season where we just have to be more subjective on who gets into the playoff. And so now we're not impressing computers, we're impressing people. Which might be bad news for Mizzou.
Oh.
Well, like Notre Dame rolled it up today.
Going to make it where you can't ignore us.
Yeah, you're going to put up a number that gets your attention.
A&M, 29.5 against the Vanderbilt Commodores.
Vanderbilt,
there's no number right now. They're going to have to prove to me they can cover any line before I let them. I mean, why are
and
we?
A&M's 4 touchdowns better than Vandy. That's
why are
not
we
that
saying
big of a number.
that they're historically bad so far? I know they are.
Well, they have a lot of opt-outs. They don't really have a quarterback. They don't have traditionally they have a good running back, and they don't have one of those this time.
Yeah,
Here, Haley, I'll let you out for a minute so you can tweet what you were going to tweet. Take some pressure off of you here. Looking into the camera and trying to tweet at the same time. Okay, you guys, Chase, I'm going to do something. I'm going to go to me for a minute.
Okay.
And then y'all switch cameras.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So you can do that. Because there's not a only thing. Does that make sense? You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Okay. So I went to me, and this way when we go to the main screen with you and me, when I flipped to that a minute ago, it was me and Haley.
Okay. Yes.
Which would be really disconcerting for Haley to be on camera while you talked.
Oh, that would be kind of weird, wouldn't it?
Yeah. So now we can.
Okay.
Now we can go back to this. It's just kind of dress rehearsal. We're good. It's all fine.
At least we have options. We didn't really have options before. We had 1 or 2 things, and that's all we could kind of do. So
and kind of pull your screen to you a little bit. You're perfect right there. You're good.
Oh, not yet. There?
Yeah, you're good.
That's
right
fine?
there. Uh-huh.
Okay. Yeah, y'all are watching us really have one of these kind of shows tonight. It just is what it is.
That's okay. That wasn't bad.
It's fine.
I mean, I'm going to give myself applause right there. I thought I handled that okay.
It could have been much worse.
Could have been much worse. It was calm. It's all good.
UCF now up 49-21 on Georgia Tech.
Makes you wonder how bad is Florida State.
Well, look, they fire coaches for reasons.
And I know you can't do the transfer thing, the law of transference, one score to another score and that kind of thing, but.
I mean, that's a nightmare. Michael Thomas, by the way, ruled out against the Raiders. That was definitely expected, but they were trying to give some hope a couple days ago, and it appears that's not the case.
What are the NFL games tomorrow?
I'll pull it up. I got it right here. I feel like we had pretty good primetime games for some reason. Maybe I'm wrong, but I felt like that was the case. Let's see. Is that coming through where it's supposed to?
I know you can't do the.
Hey, caller. How are you?
Hey, Neal, Chase, Haley, how are y'all?
Oh, we're lovely. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's Ryan in Dallas.
Hey, Ryan.
Chase, I got a golf question for you.
Yeah, I'm here. You're a little low. We're getting you turned up. Go ahead.
I got a question. A hole-in-one. Have you ever had a hole-in-one?
I have never had a hole-in-one. I don't know that I, frankly. I mean, obviously I've hit shots that are close, but I've never had one where I went, oh my God, that was about to go in, or where I've got like a divot mark that ran over the hole or anything. So yeah, nowhere close.
So here's the question, and this is it's a common discussion in my foursome topic. Let's say you shank one out of bounds, tee up another one, and it goes right in. You dunk it, right? So technically a 3 on the scorecard. Are you celebrating it like it's a 1? Are you in the clubhouse buying people drinks like it's a 1, or do you own up to it like it's a 3 and just say, "Wow, hell of a par"?
Yeah, it's a couple different answers. It's definitely not paying for drinks. It is celebrating it like one, though. I mean, you're still going to see the reaction. You're going to feel it. I mean, you're going to get the drilling off of it. So, yeah, I think you celebrate it completely. And, no, it does not count as a hole-in-one. It just gives you one hell of a story, I think. It's a great story. Yeah. It's something you can tell just like the hole-in-one story, maybe even better. But, no, it does not it does not count. You have to own up to that one. I mean, the bigger thing is during the whole pandemic thing was, does it count if it rolls up against some of the little tube things that people have had with the cups or the raised cups? Do those count? But, no, you just got a good par there. It's kind of like at Sawgrass. I mean, when they on 17, when they dunk it in from the penalty area, yeah, you don't count that.
I think it's probably like one of those Uncle Remus fishing stories, right? Like the longer you go away from it, the more the details kind of get a little blurry. I bet 20 years from now it would be a hole-in-one. At least that's how I would handle it.
Well, yeah. Now look, everybody gets a couple of drinks in them. You're around nobody that you know, where nobody can like call you out or whatever. And yeah, it might slip into there one day that, hey, yeah, here's what happened, and you can tell it the same way. I'll buy that.
So I don't know, Chase, if you saw this week though but the Golf Channel did a story on the amount of golf that was played. What do y'all think the amount of golf rounds in the month of July compared to last year was? Public courses, trackable, they have numbers on it. I was astounded at the number, but what do y'all think the number of golf rounds played during the pandemic here in July 2020 was compared to July of 2019?
It's up 150%.
Yeah.
I didn't see the thing, but that'd be my guess. I mean, yeah, there are so many more people playing golf.
Just robbed my chance to kind of break the news to everybody.
Well, no, am I right? Is that really what it was?
It was up. There were 10 million more rounds in July than there was last July.
Yeah,
they did not express it as a percentage, but 10 million more rounds in this July compared to last July.
People trying to get out more because there's only a few things you could do during the pandemic, and one of them was play golf. So that's one of it. The other thing is simply people had more time. I mean, you'll forget even what the restrictions were, but people didn't go to work forever, so they played more golf. They did more things. I mean, I've seen that even on local tee sheets, whether it be the country club or the university course. I mean, I think when the university course first reopened, after a couple of hours, you couldn't book a tee time for like 3 weeks. I mean, it blew up immediately.
It's the same way here in Dallas. If you don't have a tee time about 7 days out from where you want to play, it's not worth even trying to find anywhere remotely in the Metroplex.
So
it's crazy.
Here's my theory on this. And, people are saying, hey, all the ratings are down. NFL ratings were way down in week 1. The NBA ratings are crazy down. And some of that is people are, people are frustrated with the social messages and all of that stuff. Part of my theory, though, is that people have developed new habits. And people went out and played golf. So you bought clubs, right? And you bought a membership. You've changed your habits. And now on a Saturday afternoon or a Sunday afternoon, instead of watching the NFL, which is what you normally would have done, you want to try out that new driver you bought. Or you've started getting better with your irons, and so you want to go play golf. And
well, it is self-fulfilling. The more you play, the better you get, and then you go, hey.
And the more you play, the more it just becomes a habit. And now instead of getting together with the guys to go to the restaurant and have wings, now let's go play at the club, and then we'll have a couple beers. And so you develop new habits. Maybe people joined I don't know what the word for it would be, a swimming club, with a pool. And they go hang out at the pool now, and they've got friends that they meet at the pool. I mean, people do different things. It's undeniable that numbers are down, that ratings are down. No, there's no way around that. And so you can't help but wonder, okay, well, if the numbers are down, what is that? How do you get it back? One of the things I'm fascinated to see next week is what the college football television ratings look like with SEC games. I'm anticipating a dip in markets not named Birmingham. I could be wrong, but that's what I expect.
Well, even they could be dipping because the number's so high. Is my point. I mean,
what do you think, Ron?
I don't know. I think it's kind of ingrained in the culture here, at least in the South, and my crew. My crew is all late 20s guys, and we're still hanging on every snap, and we're all in on it. But I will tell you, there is a definite difference in tone in NFL. The fantasy league fell apart this year. Last week was the first week of football back. I didn't watch a single snap, and while I'm not 100% on board with all the social justice messages, I think it was more so I was just in a different groove of what Sundays are now. There's different stuff going on. And, if I was at home, I probably would have turned it on, but it's not part of the routine anymore. I think that college sports will be immune to that because I just think it's so ingrained in people, and it's not exactly a 4-hour viewing period, right? It's a whole day, and appetizers and watch parties and friends and drinks. I think college football will stay relatively immune, but at least in my little world, the NFL has taken a big hit for sure.
It is one good point in the stream, too, from a rating standpoint. There are so many more people that can supplement into the – I know it's not a huge number, but nationally it kind of is when every game doesn't have but 25% of the people at it. That's just so much more of a viewing audience that's obviously interested in football, obviously going to watch their team, but then flip on somebody else's team as well. When you add up all the stadiums in the country, the number of people that would be inside a stadium that's now not, that will be a steroid, if you will, for college football ratings.
All right, guys, I'll leave you. I appreciate it. Keep up the good work. Looking forward to next weekend. I'll lead you with a question. Maybe if you could give me an answer on it. Is there any chance you think Tate Reeves revisits the tailgating deal maybe towards the end of the summer, or do you think we've all just buried our head in the sand in terms of metrics and we're just all going to just call this a wash and move on to 2021? Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you for the call.
Thank you, Ron.
Believe it or not, I've not heard that question. That's a really good question.
Because I do think that the attendance overall is going to raise. I think that it's very likely. I think prior to State's first home game, there's a chance that the premium seating is raised to match the restaurant rules, 75%. I think that's possible. I don't expect anything prior to Ole Miss in Florida on Saturday. My gut tells me there will not be widespread tailgating during the 2020 season at any point. My gut tells me no.
You're probably right.
I do think overall stadium attendance will get to at least 50% and maybe higher. And I do think and I do think suite attendance gets to 75.
And this isn't fair to me to do this to you, so I acknowledge up front that I'm not being fair.
Sure.
Haley, I'm bringing you back in. She can answer this as well. Tell me if I'm wrong. All right. Never mind. This is so screwed up. We're going to fix it for next week. Now, Chase's name, but I can fix it. Hold on.
What's going on? Because we flipped the mics.
Now the names are screwed.
Can you fix this?
Not immediately, but I can in a minute.
Okay.
I'm just going to go back to you and me for a second.
Sure.
So we can put 30,
this is why we bought the new camera, Haley.
We can put 30,000 people in the stadium. We can put 75% capacity in suites.
Yeah. But
people can't picnic in an outdoor area? Explain that science. I'm back to someone going, I want a scientific explanation, because this is where I get really frustrated. This feels like one of those things that we say, well, we can't do this because we need to look like we're doing something.
They're going to believe that they can't police it to the standards of outdoor group activity that is locally a law or a rule or whatever we're calling these things.
And again, I
when
acknowledge
they say
that
wide open, no,
it's not fair
when
to
it's
you.
a wide open area, they're going to say that in a stadium or in somewhere else we can contact trace, but in straight tailgating we'd have no way to contact trace.
Okay,
Liability.
and caller, hang with me for a minute, because I'm just finishing this point. They're not going to be able to contact trace a suite.
You will at least know who's in it because they're not allowing suite hopping. That's against the rules right now.
Is that enforceable, though? Are there going to be enough security to enforce that?
I don't know. It's a good question.
Okay. Caller, go ahead. I'm sorry. How are you?
Doing good. Hitting some golf balls. Mark in Columbus.
Hey, Mark.
Hey, Mark, hold your thought one time. Haley, I'm just kind of curious. Have y'all, like, any of your friends or anybody, is there, like, tailgating? I know, like, parties, but, like, any activities prior to the game on Saturday? Is anybody, like, talking about, like, hey, let's go to this place and tailgate in groups or party in groups at a house or anything?
Nothing that I've heard.
Okay.
I think it's pretty much just watch it in your house, see how many people you can fit in without getting a fine. So,
is there worry that people could get fined inside of a residence, though?
yes.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I would have never even thought about it being enforceable. So if so, I mean,
I think they moved it to 25 inside, 50 outside. But it used to be only 10.
the state did. Oxford has been a little tighter on that.
And again, these are just arbitrary numbers that we're throwing around. There's no science behind any of it. Because I've asked people, give me the science, and no one can. Well, we just feel like that's the proper way to scale the numbers now.
Sorry, Mark. Go ahead.
Yeah.
You guys were just talking about television viewership and how it's down. And I'm actually, like I just said, I'm hitting some range balls right now. I mentioned on the thread a couple days ago, normally I watch literally 90% of the Cleveland Indians innings for a whole baseball season, and I've watched maybe 4 games. I'm just kind of into doing other stuff. I've watched 5 minutes of college football this year, and that's it. That's just not that big a deal to me. I think part of it is like the no fans kind of throws me off. Sorry, I'm hitting one-handed wedge shots. The no fans kind of throws me off, and so I'm just kind of like, it doesn't have the same atmosphere, background noise, whatever. I've been watching the golf. I watched the U.S. Open today. Spent all day watching that. I should have been out playing golf, but I kind of got hooked into watching Winged Foot. But other than that,
I will be curious to see the golf ratings. Because if the golf ratings are really good, it really shoots down some of the other arguments we're making about NFL and NBA. Because look, let's just for the sake of the argument, take this both ways. Let's say golf ratings are down, that the U.S. Open ratings are down compared to what they were over the last 2 or 3 years. Well, now I'm buying my theory that, hey, you know what? People develop new habits over the course of the last 6 months. But if the golf ratings are up, even if they're steady, but if they're steady/up, that tells me, you know what? You NFL, NBA, as much as you don't like it, Clay Travis has a point.
Well, I've watched one full NBA game in 20 years, so I'm not really a person.
Yeah, so that doesn't count. You're not watching the NBA because of social justice measures and
right. It's not why
right,
I'm not watching. It's not a big fan. But the NFL, I watched half a game, but it really had nothing to do with the social justice stuff. I don't like it, but whatever.
So why didn't you watch the NFL?
I went out and played golf.
So to you're
that scores on my phone and
you're on my you're kind of subscribed.
Are you more likely though to lock in at all to SEC and Big Ten games once they start?
Let's see how Tennessee plays against South Carolina, because if that gets ugly, I'll be locked out.
Okay.
If they look like they're back, just don't laugh at me. Or show signs of life, I'll be a little more engaged. I'm interested to see how engaged I am next week when the SEC starts. I just could not get into Clemson, Citadel, or Duke, Notre Dame. It didn't do it for me. I caught a little bit of Georgia State and Lafayette just because I bet it. I watched like 2 minutes of it today.
Okay.
That was it. So, I'll watch the U.S. Open tomorrow. I won't watch the NBA or the NFL. Hopefully, someone not named Bryson DeChambeau wins and be all good.
What do you have against DeChambeau?
Well,
you sounded sensitive there.
I'm baiting him because there's so many options.
It's patently obvious that he's juicing. It's obvious.
You don't think that gaining the 60 pounds of sheer muscle in 6 months is natural?
Yeah, 50 pounds in a year. Yeah, mm-hmm. Yeah, on protein, he wouldn't have kidneys left.
I mean, he drinks the protein shakes on the course. I mean, he shows you he's
and he's walking around in 90-degree heat all summer and holding all that weight. I mean, really, it's a miracle. And I know Koepka called out him, and I always thought Koepka was juicing too, so I really can't say anything, but it's just obnoxious.
So he shoots 43 on the back, it wouldn't matter, but tomorrow you would have rooted for Patrick Reed over DeChambeau?
It was either that or drink bleach. I couldn't decide which one it would have been.
Who would you cheer for if it came down to those two guys?
I probably would have rooted for Reed.
Okay.
Who would you cheer for if it came down to those two guys? Yeah, both
Reed,
of you.
not close. I don't hate Patrick Reed as much as most people. Like I kind of laugh at him. He doesn't bother me.
I mean, he just dusted Jordan Spieth out there the first 2 days. That was hilarious because he just doesn't like that guy. Just drilled that guy.
So who is going to win tomorrow? Is Wolf going to freak out?
I don't think he could hit 2 fairways and win.
Well, no, that's a good point. He hit 2 fairways today and shot 65.
But I mean, look, that guy. It would not, to people who are into golf, it would not surprise anybody if he won the U.S. Open. I mean, that guy's been a future world beater for a long time. Very in the same breath as Morikawa.
Yeah.
Then maybe Hovland goes out and wins the Masters.
That's fair.
And it's officially a new era.
Yeah, right.
All right, guys. Thanks for all you do.
Appreciate it, Mark.
Thanks for the call, Mark.
Thank you.
Ryan says in thread he gained 35 pounds his freshman year from Coupe de Ville, so it's not unheard of.
Of course, that's a little different weight. I'm going to try a screen that we forgot to set up because we didn't have time.
So what's it going to be on it?
It's 3 of us. It's a different background. Jay set it up just for fun.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not ready. Well, I could try. Let's see. Nope, it's not ready.
We're not good.
I mean, it actually works. Yeah, we're all there because there's no names underneath it. It's just basic. Just a basic screen that gave us some more room to do some things.
We haven't
if we wanted to.
Yet.
I just flipped you.
Yeah, I know, but we have it on the screen. We have delays.
Yeah. You'll see.
Okay.
It's okay. Just if people wanted to see all 3 of our faces without the graphics, we have that available. And there's more screen to do stuff with if we need to.
Neal's watching the hometown team now, La Tech.
Yeah, Louisiana Tech, Southern Miss. Oh. Tech got points.
You've got only your camera in these.
Are you sure?
Well, no, you popped it. Well, you don't have Haley. You've got,
there
you are.
Haley's
okay,
in.
sorry.
Haley's in.
All right.
Bear with me.
It came in. So Jay set this one up?
Yeah. Just to have an alternative.
Have you gotten used to seeing yourself on camera yet, Haley? Like, what's the?
It's still a little weird. In the lag, I'm like, am I doing that right now?
It's 10 seconds.
I'm not used to it yet.
There is a lot of room on this one. I don't hate that.
Yeah, there's room for graphics and stuff like that. Like post game, if we were doing that.
Okay.
That was kind of one of those things. We've built some graphics that I can move in. I just don't have access to them at this very moment on this screen.
Florida State's bad. That's how Florida State is. Grind ask in the thread. They're
a
bad football team.
They're bad.
Taggart did a really bad job.
Taggart did a bad job, and Jimbo
left it in worse shape than he's getting credit for leaving it.
I asked Chris Morgan about this, and Chris knows that program pretty well, and he said that Jimbo quit recruiting. Jimbo knew he had the Texas A&M job a year out, and he quit recruiting. And then Taggart did an incredibly bad job.
Did Ole Miss dodge a bullet there with Willie Taggart?
I think so.
Because they wanted to hire Willie Taggart first.
Wanted to hire him and had a shot until someone got involved and kind of changed it.
Yeah.
Someone started puppeteering, pulling strings with the puppets.
Yeah. We had a weekend.
Yeah, we had a couple of weekends. Well, actually, that weekend happened before. Because there was a moment in mid-November of that year where Taggart was really interested.
Yeah.
And then Taggart was told not to be interested so that they could move some stuff around.
Your NFL games tomorrow are Rams-Eagles. Rams trying to go to 2-0. Philadelphia lost last week, right? Washington came back and beat Philadelphia.
Yeah, Philly lost.
Yeah, so that's in
their offensive line.
tomorrow.
Their offensive line was bad, and going against the Rams' defensive line, that's a problem because I picked Philly and I hated the pick as soon as I hit publish.
You also had an error on your don't do well traveling east. In the last 3 seasons, the Rams have gone to the East Coast for a 10 o'clock Pacific time
it's
game.
Seattle that doesn't do well when they travel.
4-0, averaging 35 points a game.
Yeah, it's Seattle does. I got my NFC West teams confused.
So you would like to switch that one if at all possible is what you're saying? You feel better about the Rams tomorrow against the Eagles?
If I were not just a slightly bit honorable, I'd change some picks before the game, but it's too late.
Carolina and Tampa Bay. Brady gets his home opener tomorrow. Let's see. Denver, Pittsburgh, Atlanta, Dallas, Jets, 49ers, Bills, Dolphins, Vikings, Colts, Lions, Packers, your Chicago Bears playing the New York Giants tomorrow.
It's at noon, right?
It is at noon.
Yeah.
That's correct. The Bears are 5-point favorites. Tennessee, Jacksonville tomorrow. Washington, Arizona. Baltimore, Houston. Interesting game. I kind of like that game tomorrow.
Yeah.
Kansas City, Chargers tomorrow. New England, Seattle's an interesting game tomorrow.
Yeah,
that's
a real
Seattle
good game.
in Seattle tomorrow.
If Baltimore goes to Houston and wins big, because they won big in week 1, you have to start talking about them again and having the conversation in September about, okay, we know this can be a great regular season team. Can they win a playoff game?
Yeah. Pats and Seahawks are your Sunday night game, and then your Monday night game is the Saints and the Raiders in Vegas.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting.
Yeah, interesting is probably the word there. So, yeah, again, Michael Thomas out for the Saints, so you got to throw that thing to somebody. Now, Breeze does really well with a bunch of no-name wide receivers.
I was going to say, that doesn't intimidate me at all for Breeze's sake.
One of the top 5 wide receivers in the game being out.
He's always been able to for one game, work around that. Now, if it were in the playoffs, it's so funny with the Saints. It's the same story every year.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why not go get another dominant receiver?
Do you have a pseudo-favorite NFL team, Haley?
I wouldn't say I have a favorite. I went to my first Saints game last year in New Orleans.
Which game? How'd they play?
It was the game that Drew Brees got the win.
Oh, he broke the record?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a good one to
cool.
pick.
It was really neat to
be
there.
Was it Atlanta?
It was Atlanta, wasn't it?
I thought it was Atlanta, but I don't remember. Was it Atlanta?
Remember.
Okay. I don't you remember.
Have you ever been to a game in the stadium? Southern Miss?
No, I've never been there.
I haven't either.
I've never been to a sporting event on their campus. I've never done Ole Miss baseball in Hattiesburg either. Because that park's nice, but I've never been there. I have no idea what their basketball facility's like. And I actually covered basketball in some really weird places, but that's not one. So I don't know.
Jay showed me how to do this, and now I'm trying to do it. Tyler Fitch sent us a super chat, which is awesome.
Oh, well, that was handy.
Yeah.
Okay.
But he showed me how to move Tyler's post over into the thread, and I am unable to do it right now. Are you struggling with it? Well, I'm not getting it done. So I'm doing something wrong. He says he doesn't have a question, but thanks for everything we do. Hotty toddy, and good luck with the big weekend show. Tyler, that's very nice of you. We really appreciate it. It's very nice. Yeah. So the plan again next Saturday is we'll come on at 9 a.m. Ole Miss kicks off at 11. We'll do 2 hours of pregame, which will be sort of a standard, not hardcore, but as close as we get to hardcore football show. And then we'll turn the game on at 11, and that's going to be a little bit more laid back, a lot more laid back. Like at times we'll just disappear for a few minutes, but we'll watch the game with you, and then we'll have hand raise guys after the game where we drink and do therapy and all of that.
It would be really nice to cover some wins occasionally. Again, New Mexico State, the only victory that we've had so far.
Yeah. I mean, we try not to cheerlead, but yeah, we'd like some wins.
It'd be nice.
It
We did the same game over and over and over again last year. So
you can make money on a loser at the end of a coaching era.
Not the beginning.
Yeah.
You need a little 2012 going on right here where they find a way a little bit. So we'll see.
What channel is ESPNU on DirecTV?
I have no idea. Like 209-ish.
209's ES. There it is.
208.
Yeah.
Okay.
Texas State and the Mighty Warhawks on ULM.
The Bobcats?
That game's in Monroe. I tell you what, if it weren't for social distancing, this place would be people hanging off the light standards.
Texas State might be the most nondescript D1 program in the country. I bet less than 5% of even a sports fan could tell you anything about Texas State.
Okay, Texas State, is that in San Marcos?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh, I get it right.
Oh, sorry, we have the Texas native here. Sorry.
It's like 20 minutes from my hometown.
Oh, is it really?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like 50,000 students or something, right?
There's
it's like everybody goes
A lot of
there.
people go there.
Like from your high school? That's
Yes.
a really popular place?
Yes, very popular.
They just lost out on you?
Close to home. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Big time party school, I'm betting.
Goes pretty hard.
I would think.
It's the Arizona State of the Southland or whatever they're in. What are they? Sunbelt? What are they? What is Texas State? What's their conference?
Texas State.
Conference USA?
Maybe they are. Are they in the Sun Belt?
I don't know.
Louisiana Monroe was quite the party school. I'm just keeping that real. You had to have a pulse to get your degree. And even that was somewhat variable. Optional, I should say.
Yeah, Sunbelt.
Yeah, they're in the Sun Belt with ULM and all those guys.
Oh, yeah, duh. We're watching the game. Wasn't really thinking about it that way. We sat next to the rivals publishers for Texas State at a conference one time. That's as close as I could get to Texas State.
Yeah.
I don't really know how that happened, but where we were, so. Francione was there?
He was at Texas State for a little while.
Was he?
Yeah. ULM's uniforms last week with the white top were solid. These tops are a little busy. They've got the white top, the white helmet, the maroon kind of jersey, and then the bright yellow pant. That's just a lot to take in.
This might be one of the worst uniform matchups like there is.
Because they're both maroon and
yellow.
yellow,
like,
and that's a lot.
The Padres don't need to play the Padres. Like it's not good. It doesn't clash as much as we got alerted to Coastal Carolina playing a night or two ago, but yeah, it's not great. So anyway, yeah, we'll have a pretty normal week prior to Saturday. Do we get changes on when are game week Zooms and things this week? Do we know yet?
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
What time? Do we know?
Same time.
Oh, it's same time.
Yeah, they practice in the mornings.
Okay.
I think I know what I did, or what I should say what I didn't do.
About what?
To move the chat over. I'm almost positive I know what I did now. I'm closer to having this figured out than you think I am.
You're close to being able to run the ship effectively?
In a couple spots, yeah. I'm trying to find. I think I accidentally. Matter of fact, I know I did. I closed out of.
Haley, we're getting asked on the thread here. What are your Ole Miss uniform preferences? How would you rate Ole Miss's? We'll go football uniform. What's your favorite to your least favorite?
I'm really excited about the powder blue. I know it has a lot of mixed reviews.
What color pant do you think they should wear? Powder blue tops, you've seen them. They're wearing the powder blue helmet. What color pant should they wear?
I can't answer because I know your response, and that's kind of what I want to say because...
You can agree with him.
No, you can agree.
I agree. I don't know.
White?
Maybe just white. Yeah. All blue that'd be a crime.
Well, gray. There's a decent chance they wear gray. You know that, right?
Yeah, I know. It's so defeating.
It's tradition.
But the powder blue's not tradition. So when you wear the gray and we're obeying tradition.
Well, you're giving them just a little bit. Look, those UCLA stripes on the shoulder, they shout Ole Miss, okay? I don't like, we can't change those. It is what it is. What are you looking at?
I'm trying to find the chat box.
Yeah, Marv, if you'd like to call, you can give us a shout. 662-259-0991.
Trying to find the chat box. For whatever reason, I can't find it.
Yeah, that's going to be a Monday thing for
it's fine.
McCready.
It's fine.
We will get the online shop up and running this week. I've been assured of that. We will have some merchandise to show you as well. We'll have some Blue Delta stuff to give you a look at as well as the weeks move on. So merchandise wise, we're in the game with you. Plenty to do there.
I might even have it covered up somewhere. Trying to figure that out. I don't know.
It's okay.
It's fine.
All right.
It's one of those things you just get kind of curious about it after a while. You're like, where did I put that? And it just went away. But it's okay.
I've got to have a little better TV presence still, too. It looks like I'm looking at the ceiling every time I glance at the TV.
That's because it's high.
Well, yes.
You know, so you are sort of glancing towards the ceiling. You have to roll your eyes a little bit more. Here we go. Hey, who do we have? Hey, caller, who do we have?
Hey, it's Marv.
How you doing, Marv?
Good, man. Good. Late to the stream. Really didn't get to watch any. We had the in-laws over and picked up some Thai food, and just kind of want to come and kind of tell a short story if you have time.
Yeah. What's your heat level on Thai food?
So I like it. If I'm going to rice and spice, I'm a 4.5, 5 type of guy, depending on the dish. But I typically live in the 4 area. The restaurant I went to now, they had just mild, medium, hot, and then Thai hot. And I'd never eaten there before, so I just went with the hot. I didn't want to,
just in case,
ruin the rest of my evening, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
Where are you at on this, Haley? 0 to 5 on Thai food. What heat are we getting?
I'm gonna stick low.
Okay.
1 maybe.
But at least a little, or could you go 0? Like, could you where you just don't put any seasoning on it at all?
I think I need some spice. Okay. So let's say 1. I'll say 1.
All right. That's okay.
Yeah, my wife is she'll get drunken master and then go and ask if 0 is an option. So.
So what do you got? What are you telling us?
So I kind of want to talk a little bit about just the sense of normalcy that I've felt over the past 2 days. So our local high school had their first home game last night. And, I went to it, sports team and all that. And then we have our 3-month-old, and we took her to the local little zoo. And, they don't have a lot. They have a cheetah, they have a rhino, they have a few other things. But just kind of fall getting here and football really starting back next week. I don't know if it's the end of the tunnel per se, but it just feels good, man. It feels good to get some sense of normalcy back in our lives. So that was part of it. The other part was more for you, Chase. I've finally, after about 2 years of hunting, and I think I've heard you say before that you're not a big Blanton's guy, but I finally collected all the letters. I went by one of my stores, and they let me pick up the 2 last letters I needed. They just got a store pick in, and he let me pick 2 letters up. So I finally completed I guess you could say the stride of the horse and all the letters of Blanton's. So I thought that was a pretty cool accomplishment.
It is a cool accomplishment. I actually gave to help a buddy finish out his letters. I had a Blanton straight from the barrel that I finished off and gave him the top to be able to finish his. So he had just finished his a couple months ago as well.
Okay. I don't know if I have a friend who would do that for me.
Well, man, I didn't give him the Blanton straight from the barrel. I just gave him the top to the Blanton straight from the barrel. Though there's a difference there. Yeah. It's not that I'm not. It's not even that I'm not a Blanton's guy. It's that I just find it the difficulty to get it or it being not on the shelf, I could just find things I prefer that I can find, if that makes sense. It's not something I necessarily want to chase around. Is more where I'm at.
Yeah, no, I think it's one of the ones that if you're not a big bourbon guy, it's like your unicorn, so you go crazy over it. And then if you are a bourbon guy who knows stuff, there's better stuff out there. So I feel like it meets somewhere in the middle of those two.
You just described me because when I first started getting into bourbon, Blanton's to me was awesome. I loved it.
Yeah.
And if I got it, I was like, oh, this is great. And now that I've developed more of a palate for it and I know more about it, I still like it. I mean, look, if you tell me, hey, we only have one bourbon and it's Blanton's, I'm like, okay, well, I'm in. That's good. I mean, I'm fine. I don't ever want to become such a snob that I'm like, oh no, that's not good enough for me. But now, I mean, I could say if that's not available, there's plenty other bourbons, in many cases, $10, $20 a bottle cheaper, that frankly I like more.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Does that make sense?
I got these two, right around $70. So to round out my collection, I was happy to pay that, but I would never pay more than that for it.
What's your findable unicorn? Not like William LaRue or anything, but just like the thing where you do get kind of excited when you run into it.
I really like Stag Junior, man. I'm a high proof guy, and I found one or two places where I can get it for about $55.
Oh wow! Okay.
And I can only get it 3 or 4 times a year, but I normally buy a couple bottles when I can. But I really like Stag Junior.
I'm a high proof guy too, but I'll tell you, last year I found it like almost kind of medicinal. Like there was a little bit of an alcohol thing there that I just couldn't quite get past with it. Like it did not do for me last year what I've kind of expected it to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know. Like I didn't even prefer it over like a Booker's or something last year.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest. I think it's the Jim Beam distillery.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that right? In Booker's Jim Beam, I'm not the biggest Jim Beam fan. I don't like Booker's. I'm not crazy about the Bakers, the 107.
Yeah.
So
I got to tell you a Baker's story. So Game 7 of the 2016 World Series, I drank Baker's, and when your adrenaline's pumping, you don't really know how much you drank, and then when your adrenaline stops pumping, you realize just how much you drank.
You hit that wall.
Yeah, I hit the wall, crashed through the wall, hit another wall, and then crashed through that wall again. And I can't drink Baker's after that, which is not fair to Baker's. It's not Baker's fault, but there's a connection there, and I'm not quite over it yet. Seriously.
Oh, that's a pretty good question. Like, what's supposed to be a pretty decent bourbon that like you just don't like or you don't drink or like you just kind of go, nah, I'm good. Like, that's interesting. I have to think about that a little bit.
I was reading something earlier, and a guy was a Scotch guy and a rum guy, and he said he really liked Basil Hayden, which again, that's Jim Beam, and I don't like Basil Hayden at all.
Basil Hayden is good for the rye guy who's just getting into ryes because it's that bourbon with just a little bit of a blend that gives you just a touch of spice. It kind of gets you in that mold a little bit, but it's not like going out and buying Midwinter Night's Dram or a Knob Creek rye or something that's going to pop you on your palate with all that spice. It's a way to start figuring out whether you like the ryes or not. I get it. I mean, it's and it's pretty good too if you're just completely don't have any rye and you're making cocktails that require a rye, like a Basil Hayden or a Canadian Club or something's a decent way to kind of fake it.
Going back to your other question, something that's really good that I can find, Steve Thomason actually turned it on to me, the Four Roses Small Batch Select for about $55.
Oh, it's really good. It's really good.
So, but guys, I won't keep you too long. I just kind of wanted to share my Blanton story, to share, some sense of normalcy and how good it felt. Appreciate y'all. Appreciate everything y'all do. Y'all have a good one.
All right. Thanks, Barb. Absolutely.
All right.
Do a lot of bourbon hunting, Haley? Is that your
Can't say I do. It all kind of sounded like foreign language to me.
It can get as deep as people would like it for it to get. Like it can become kind of Greek, and you're like, all right, yeah, that's what it is.
Okay, I discovered, and I'll be able to tell you about it later. Remind me to tell you about the comments and stream key.
Okay.
Yeah. So I figured something out just then. it's
eureka moment there.
A couple
of
things clicked, and now I know a couple of things, and so we have an option. But to have that option, we have to change something.
Okay.
But just remind me to tell you that.
All right.
Yeah.
That's all good. Somebody says tie hot level 6. I can't do that. That's too hot. Because I know people do a double 5, and I'm like, I can't.
No. You pay for that later.
I can live around 3.
Yeah.
Anything more than about 3, and I'm like, okay, is this really helping the flavor, or am I just doing this to say I did it?
Right. That's like going to the wings. We're like, okay, well, this one has Scoville level 18 gazillion.
You got to sign the waiver before you eat them.
Why am I doing this? This is. I'm not doing this for pleasure at this point. I'm doing this because I'm
trying to impress my idiot buddy over here.
Yeah.
Or brag about it on the internet or something.
Yeah. I mean, it's that you're not enjoying the taste because it's just burning your mouth to hell and back. Hey, caller, who do we have?
What's up, man? It's Grind.
Hey, Grind, what's up?
Not much, man. Just chilling. Just had a pretty long day down here in Mobile. Sally did a lot of damage down here, man.
I know it did. We saw some pictures of Midtown Mobile. It was unbelievable. Just those massive, those live oak trees that have to be 300 years old that were uprooted. That had to have done some damage to homes and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, man. A lot of damage. Actually, downtown Mobile just got, the city just got power last night. Like, for 2 nights, it was just dark. It was crazy. But, yeah, man, you guys, so this is what you guys are going to be doing every Saturday, with the setup and everything. I was a little late getting in, so, so that's why I'm just asking and everything.
We're going to do a 2-hour pregame show, 2 hours before Ole Miss's kickoff each Saturday. And then we'll just kind of hang out with people during the game, and then after the game we'll do our post-game show that we did last year, which was Ole Miss went 1-7 during the games that we did, so it was kind of the therapy show after a while. I mean, we a lot of drinking, and we would just try to convince people that the world was not coming to an end. And then as the night went on, everybody kind of got in a better mood, and it actually ended up being a really funny show. So, hopefully for the fans' sake, they'll mix in a few wins and a little hope and that kind of thing. Because last season, it was a little rough at times, but we got through it, and we're a little further along technologically this time. So hopefully it'll all work out.
Yeah, man, I want to see y'all do good. I want to see Ole Miss win, just not against Auburn. You know how that goes. So, I was asking, man, because me and my boys were having a football conversation. I want to get y'all opinion, man. First off, I'm going to ask y'all this question. Which job is a better job, Penn State or Auburn?
Ooh. Penn State or Auburn?
I'm thinking.
And I mean, right now, don't talk about if Bama's down or Ohio State's down. Like,
so let me ask. So okay, hold on, because that was going to be my question. Not like are we saying for a coach who's going to get 5 years, just in general?
Yeah, like for a coach, just in general, like let's say as of right now, James Franklin and Gus Malzahn was both to retire, and the coach was offered with both jobs. Okay. Which, in your opinion?
You're both in the difficult division because you're in the SEC West, you're in the Big Ten East. Because in the East, Penn State's in there with Ohio State and Michigan. I'm going to give Auburn the push, but it's really, really close. That's a great question.
Yeah, they're really similar. I think if you told me that I could have either the Auburn job or the Penn State job, I'm taking the Auburn job. I'm a little concerned because much like at Penn State, there's a couple things that, that are, and I know Auburn people hate this, and I get it. And I covered Auburn for 6 years, so I feel like I can say this with a certain degree of authority. If Alabama's rolling, the Auburn job, it just gets harder. Not impossible, but it gets harder.
Okay.
Now if you can get it rolling at Auburn and Alabama kind of takes a step back, Auburn becomes an elite job fast.
It's the one thing that does allow it to catapult tiers.
Yeah, I mean, it can become an elite job fast. Penn State.
Okay,
I don't know that Penn State can ever be an elite job again. Can Penn State ever recruit nationally the way that maybe they once did? I don't know that they can. I think you are stuck recruiting the Midwest, the Northeast, that kind of thing. Auburn can recruit, if not nationally, Auburn can recruit really effective regionally enough that you can get plenty of good players there because they've done it.
Yeah. Okay. And you basically said so, like, as of right now, because basically, Auburn has been living, we've all been living in the midst of the Alabama dynasty.
Sure.
So you would say, so in you guys' opinion, has Gus Malzahn maximized the Auburn program since he's, in his tenure since he's been there? Because I say no.
I mean, no, he hasn't maximized it. Now he's done a he's done a better job than maybe he gets credit for.
Are we saying something different if Gus Malzahn had beaten Florida State in that title game?
Probably. Yeah, you are, because that's 2 titles in the Alabama. I mean, I get he was only coordinator, but still, that's 2 titles in the Alabama era that we're discussing.
Has he maxed it out? No, he hasn't maxed it out. But this is the part that I think is hard when you're inside Auburn and you can't get up to 30,000 feet. Does that make sense? Where you're in it so close that you don't see it from up above. You see it internally. Alabama's rolling. And that impacts that job. It just does. And I know Auburn people hate that, but it does. And I mean, he being Saban, has had, in the modern era, the best decade that anyone's had in college sports.
Yeah, and within that decade, Auburn, within that same time period, Auburn is second, behind Alabama in SEC championships. And tied with LSU for second in national championship appearances. And the thing that you guys said, okay, we all agree that Gus Malzahn isn't maximizing the Auburn program with those accolades. And so, with the reason I asked about the Penn State job, I believe James Franklin is the perfect fit at Auburn, in my opinion. I believe he would be the coach, that could maximize Auburn. I just don't know.
You want a random stat real quick?
That's now I didn't realize we were going there, but now that you say that.
Well, now that is true, but here's a stat for you.
James Franklin he'd be scary at Auburn.
Penn State's out-recruited Auburn 3 of the last 4 years from team recruiting rankings.
Well, Franklin's really damn good. I mean, I didn't realize we were comparing.
Noah Cain a couple cycles ago. They beat us out for Noah Cain.
Yeah, see, I didn't realize we were comparing, and you weren't. This is if it comes across as argumentative, I don't mean for it to. I thought we were comparing the programs generically, Auburn versus Penn State. Now, if you tell me that I can have Gus Malzahn or James Franklin running my program, I want Franklin. Now, Franklin scares me a little because, like, stuff happened at Vanderbilt that if it happens in your program today, you don't recover for a while.
And Auburn, of all places, dealing with that.
Yeah. I mean, there would be.
Yeah, I'm not too sure of those things. So, okay, I have to do some research.
Yeah, you need to read about the Vanderbilt rape case, and take a deep dive into it. There would be some things that if I'm hiring him at a place like Auburn, and I mean this complimentary, if I'm hiring him at a place like Auburn that puts a lot of value on character and the Auburn creed and all of that stuff, and I'm not making fun. I'm being totally serious. I'm having to have a deep conversation with him about, hey, look, nothing like that can happen here.
But just straight up football coach, he's top 5, and it's not close.
Oh, he's a phenomenal recruiter.
I agree, man, and I think that he would leave Penn State for Auburn, because I think it's a better job, better opportunity. I feel like he sees what Gus has done and do better, but like y'all said, it's some probably some stuff in his background that may prevent that.
Well, here's the other thing about Auburn, if that came open, if you're a young guy, or how old is Franklin?
I don't know.
If you're realistically, Saban's not doing this another, 5 more years tops, right?
Yeah.
So, there's a window that's going to open up. I mean, I'd hate to be the guy that replaces Nick Saban at Alabama. I mean, it's almost an impossible deal.
Probably be Jeremy Pruitt.
Oh, I think if it's not Cristobal, it's Pruitt. I don't think it's Sweeney. I think that ship has sailed.
Yeah.
48.
Yeah.
Franklin's
48. Whew.
I mean,
No, that's a great age.
Yeah,
That'd be a wonderful age to hire a guy. You get a James Franklin at 48 who's won at Penn State, won at Vanderbilt. You've got a full decade of prime.
Yeah, man. See, Gus, and that's my thing with Gus, man. And who knows what we're gonna be this year. I'm feeling a little confident about the season, but who knows? We'll roll the dice. Yeah. And so, but my last thing, and I just I get it off join back the chat. But in 2017, did Auburn do right by re-upping Gus Malzahn, or should they have went after Jimbo and hang up?
They rushed the Rays and the way they did it for sure.
Yeah.
That wasn't correct. No, Jimbo wasn't the right guy though. I mean, we said that earlier. Jimbo wrecked the Florida State program. No,
badly.
And he hasn't won at A&M yet. I mean,
no. I get why people at Auburn are frustrated with Malzahn. I do.
They lose a lot of games relative to what people believe to be their tier.
But there hasn't been a crash and burn there.
No.
Chiswick crashed and burned at Auburn. Tuberville had a couple of crash and burn years at Auburn.
It's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. Malzahn's got a little Bianco kind of thing from a program standpoint. It's kind of like that. Okay, we could be worse. We should be better. It's sort of that deal over and over and over again. So, whatever.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah.
Hey, Mike. Yeah, he did compare you to Gus Malzahn. Yeah, I understand. Yeah, I'll have him call you. He's a little unhappy with that.
Whatever. Just thought. But it's a good question. Yeah, it was good.
I mean, James Franklin at 48, 49 years old?
Yeah.
Be something now.
So we'll go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday afternoons as we typically have. Normal week.
That's my understanding.
Yeah, we'll do that from a podcast standpoint.
Kiffin, I think, does a different practice deal.
Okay.
Like he does. I think they take Friday off.
Okay.
He doesn't do the Friday practice.
Okay.
He does an early Thursday short practice because he wants 48 hours
before
with the guys kind of off their feet, if you will.
Okay.
He's not a traditionalist as it pertains to practice. Now that they're into game week, he's known for his shorter practices. So I wouldn't be surprised if our media ops are earlier in the morning.
Okay.
Like 11-ish.
Yeah. So normal week for us on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, on Thursday, and then again, game week, Ole Miss and Florida on Saturday, pregame show, in-game show, and post-game show. So, yeah, appreciate Grind's call there. Good question as we kind of close this thing up. I think calls have kind of slowed down a little bit. So, rebelgrub.com, a lot of coverage of different things. We'll have more to you again with game week, some new stuff, some hopefully fun stuff for you as well. So, enjoyed it. Thank you from the stream. We'll talk to you again on Monday.